Thank you for telling me that, Naomi. I know admitting that you're an alcoholic can be really difficult, and I really do appreciate that you trust me enough to share with me today. So, before we go any further, I just want to check in and just see how you're feeling. I'm noticing that you're moving a lot. You've been looking around the room towards the door. Would it help if we moved spaces or changed where we're sitting, or is there
Um,
anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable?
yeah, well, could you maybe close the door a little bit? I don't feel very comfortable with it. Or open the door a bit. I don't feel comfortable closed.
Of course. Well, thank you for telling me that.
Mm.
I'll open it a little bit just so we have privacy still, but also so you don't feel shut in. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, let me open the door. Okay. So I'm also going to silence my phone. I'm very sorry that my phone did go off. I can see that may have caused you a little bit of anxiety. I just want you to stay calm and try to focus as much as possible. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So I also want to be transparent about our time. I know we are scheduled for an hour.
Mhm.
However, you have arrived a little bit late, and I do have an appointment straight after you that I can't move. Um, so we can start. Um, and I just want to let you know that when the other appointment comes in, I will have to stop and we can book another appointment to continue. Okay? How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds okay. And I'm really sorry about always coming in late today and also missing my other appointments. It's just that something always tends to come up.
Okay, that's okay. I'm just wanting you to know that you're not in trouble or anything. I know life can get pretty complicated sometimes. Um, and you did call me and let me know when you couldn't make it. So it shows that you're definitely taking it seriously and trying to connect. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So I know it was definitely difficult for you to get here, but we're here now. So let's try to make some progress. So, I know there's a lot that's been getting in the way. If you're comfortable, we can maybe talk about that and talk about how I could better support you so that you could maybe find a little bit more of a drive to make it. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds helpful.
Okay, so before we dive in, I do want to explain my role to you. So I am the intake worker here. So my job is to listen to everything you have to say, get a picture of your needs, and try to figure out how I can best help you. That could be things like arranging counseling. It could mean setting you up with groups or other supports. If I ask you a question and there's something you don't want to answer, just simply tell me and we'll skip it. How does that feel?
Yeah, that feels okay.
Okay. So when you say I'm an alcoholic, I want you to understand what that means. So, what does that mean to you? When you say I'm an alcoholic, what does that mean to you?
Um, well, it just means that I drink too much and well, I've always tried to tell myself that I'll cut off or cut back and stop, but I never get to do that, and I keep always messing things up.
Okay, so it sounds like alcohol makes you feel really out of control and that you're kind of angry and disappointed in yourself. Um, it's a very common circle that people who deal with alcoholism deal with. So you promise yourself that you'll change, and then when you fail to meet that expectation of yourself, you feel like you failed. So it's definitely not you alone. Um, it's very, very common. Would it be okay if I ask you a few questions about your drinking so I can kind of better understand your patterns a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so on a typical day, what do you usually drink, and how much would you drink, would you say?
Well, usually on a typical day, I would drink wine. And I say first that I'll have a glass, but then I end up drinking the bottle and the whole bottle.
And how many days a week does that usually happen?
Um, Pretty much every night, every single day.
Okay. Um, so I really appreciate you being open with me. I know it's not easy
Mhm.
um, to say things out loud like that. So when you think about drinking, as it is right now, what worries you the most? Like if you were to keep on this pattern, what do you feel like?
Um, well, I'm scared that I'll lose everything. I'm always late for work. I forget to do things that I'm supposed to do. I miss appointments. Especially like the one right now, like with you, I don't want to keep, basically living like this anymore.
Okay, okay. So that's definitely a real fear, and alcohol definitely could impact those parts of your life, your job, your relationships, especially your health. Um, and at the same time, you don't really want to keep going this way. So to me, from what I'm hearing from you, it shows that you actually do very much care about your life and your future. So that is a very good thing. That's the first step. So to make sure that we're supporting you safely, I ask everyone a couple of standard questions about risk. Is it all right if I ask you those now?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay. So when you drink, has there been times when you've blacked out, gotten hurt, or maybe ended up in a situation that you didn't feel um, safe? For example, like not being able to remember how you got home, or waking up with people that you don't really know, anything like that?
Well, yeah, a couple of times I've blacked out. And I also woke up not knowing or not remembering how I got home. But I don't drive. There has been times where people uh have been around me that I didn't know very well as well. So,
Okay. Well, that's definitely that's frightening, especially waking up and not knowing how you got home. I definitely appreciate you telling me that because it helps me understand how I can better support you. Okay, so sometimes people feel really overwhelmed when they're struggling with alcohol. They also feel hopeless or have thoughts of maybe self-exiting or not wanting to be here. I don't want to assume that's happening for you, but I definitely have to check. So this is maybe a little bit of an uncomfortable question, but have you had any thoughts about wanting to hurt yourself or wishing you wouldn't wake up?
um, well, sometimes, I think it might be easier if I just didn't wake up. But I haven't made a plan or anything like that.
Okay, well, I thank you very much for being honest with me about that. I know that can't be easy to say out loud. Um, those thoughts that you have about it being easier to not wake up, they're very, very serious. So I'm also glad that you haven't made a specific plan, but if you're open to it a little later, I'd like to create a simple plan with you to help deal with those thoughts when they come up, just so that we don't end up in a more serious situation. And you don't have to handle them alone. How does that feel?
I think that would help.
Okay, that's great. So I'm curious about what was different today. You mentioned that things keep coming up for your earlier appointments. What helped you actually make it this time?
Um, well, I woke up feeling like if I don't do something now, I'm gonna probably lose my job. To be honest with you, I really almost did not come today, but I kept thinking about it and finally just pushed myself to leave the house.
Okay, so it sounds like you're at a turning point, which is really great. You realize that things will get worse if nothing changes. And even though it was definitely hard, I'm really, really glad that you pushed yourself, and that definitely takes a lot of courage. So I commend you for that. Um, when you tried to come to the other appointments, what kind of things got in the way?
Sometimes I was hungover, and am just embarrassed. Other times I start getting ready and then all of a sudden panic. I think I just feel like you're gonna judge me and I just talk myself out of it, of coming.
Okay, so those are definitely powerful barriers, and that makes a lot of sense. I definitely want you to know that there's no judgment here. This is a very, very safe space. But definitely, I'm very, very glad that you came today. So, I do hear my other client outside right now, so we will have to wrap up. So, how does it feel that maybe we rebook our next session? We start working on coping mechanisms for you to handle the stressors that come up and maybe get you into a pair led group so that you have other people when we are not in a session that you can talk to and meet with and work through any feelings that come up during the day. How does that sound?
Sure, but all of a sudden a group sounds a bit scary for me. I don't know if I could do that. Is there like any other option like counseling? Because that would sound a little bit better for me.
So we can definitely do counseling, continue to counsel. So we will set up counseling with one of our counselors here, and we can go at your pace and take it from there. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. Well, I'm very, very glad that you made it here today, and we will definitely book those appointments and get in contact with you, and we will work through this, and we are going to get you some help.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You are most welcome. Okay.